We're going to go ahead and get started. So if everyone would please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Chest. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Pat, would you please do the roll call?
Here.
Here. Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting of June 26, 2025.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, in keeping with the outline of the way we're conducting the meeting, are there any questions about the agenda from the floor? Okay, hearing none, Mayor Foster. Wherever you'd like to be. That's fine.
I know I need to turn my back to the shady ones up here on the stage.
That's a safer move.
You're good. Sorry about typing that. I know I hate it when people do that at church and I'm working in the sound room. My bad on that. I'll be very brief. A little bit of a construction update for county activities, archives. I mentioned that we had a grand opening that went great. Lots and lots of people were there. And it's open now. We've got a great facility, something that we're very proud of. Something I haven't mentioned that I knew was coming is that the community complex, we got a $5 million grant for work out there on the arena. I'm hoping to get Colleen and a few other commissioners to turn a little money loose to do a few other things out there, but I'll talk to you about that later, Colleen. Our Veterans Memorial Park, if you've been downtown, you can see across from the courthouse, lots of things are going on. Right now, our crews are working, getting cement and everything ready to place a bronze eagle in the middle of that. We've done a lot of work over there. We're continuing the efforts to clean that up. We're about to start fundraising efforts on putting a statue of Milo Lemert there, the Medal of Honor recipient that lived here in Crossville, Cumberland County. Very proud of him, so we're starting that work. Budget is almost done. There's only one thing left with the public hearing and a meeting on August 12th at 4:30. If anybody is interested in coming to that, a couple of key points, we continue to focus on EMR. We put two additional, Colleen Mall asked me to mention that they put $2.9 million more towards the roads. I believe in the last few years that's an additional almost $6 million that the commission has allocated for the roads. They should have good funding for the roads at this point. And the big thing, we've done salaries and lots of other things, but we've done it again with no tax increase while keeping your property taxes one of the lowest in the entire state. And you know, Tennessee is one of the lowest tax states in the nation, so we're really, you're getting a good bang for your buck if you ask me. But that's all I have, so I will open it up to questions. Yes.
Thank you. First question I have is, do you support Fairfield Glade Community Club establishing their own EMR program with the volunteer fire department?
That is a very popular question. I think I was asked that about 20 times at the last pancake breakfast. I don't know how the mechanics of it work, if it's a community club, fire, whatever, but yes, the more first responders, the more EMR we can get out there, the better.
And just then, as a follow-up, I understand our fire department has put in their paperwork, their applications and so forth with Chris Miller. Will you do your best to get it expedited quickly?
Chris brought that over to the office, I think, yesterday. He is also all in favor of the more EMR we can get out there on the floor. Chris will never be the bottleneck. He's not the decider, I am on that. So just want to make that clear. Chris will handle the medical part of it, and I'll handle the other part. Expediting government is a tough thing, you know that, right? So we will move it as quickly as we can. It will be approved. There'll be a back and forth. It's got to go to our county law first. So there's some work in the, you know, we've been working with the local police department as well on that, and the sheriff's department. It's going to take a little time, but rest assured you can move forward, because we will come to terms, and it'll be approved. Yep. Anyone else?
If I may add to those comments, obviously there was a presentation by the fire department last month, or I believe to the board regarding their MOU that they are having in process, as the mayor indicated. But we did get approval for the training on the police department's EMR. They will commence in about mid-August. The MOU was approved by Chris Miller in the county, as well as has been reviewed by Kenneth Chadwell. So we'll be having both going on, but obviously the police department had a little bit of a jump start on the process with Chief Kate, and the fire department is coming along as well. So that was really good news to have that funding approved to start training of our police department. So just wanted to provide that update.
About all of it. These are big steps forward in public safety and in help for the public. Yep. The sheriff's department is going to be doing this, and I only know of one other sheriff's department that's doing it anywhere close to us. I don't think anyone is in upper, but you know, they're going to be out with they're going to have bags and defibrillators and everything. So it's exciting. They're going to be able to get there quickly, and with the fire and everything, you know, we're really moving forward here. So, anyone else? All right, thank you. I apologize, by the way, I have to leave, but sorry about that. So I'll see y'all next time.
Colleen, do you have any? For those watching at home, it was a ditto. Thank you.
Nico Sergio, 62 Brummel Lane. Earlier this year, the Wyndham Company, whatever they're called, different names, gave title to 300 properties to Fairfield Glade. Most of those property, or a few of the property, I looked at just a few of them, and they're like along roads, or they're kind of property that you can't build on. I haven't spent a lot of time, but would that be under your purview to look at it and talk to the people at the property tax department and say these properties are worth no more than like $100 a piece, and is there a possibility of lowering the property taxes on these, or is this a board decision or a board responsibility?
Well, I do know it's definitely not the commission's responsibility. That I know for sure. So that helps, Eddie. And I don't know about.
I can answer that. Okay, so what you're talking about, Nico, are what are called common area properties. These are the ones that we've been getting from Wyndham. We've got a bunch of them. I think the number was it was close to 200. Let's put it that way. We're getting an additional 135. This is all the property that should have been deeded over to the community club back in 1999, 1998. Why it wasn't done then, I don't know. But if you read our CNRs, it's very clear. We don't have the ability to say we don't want it. It's ours. Now, all of it has been maintained since 1999 by the community club. So in terms of operational expense, there's no additional cost. The taxes, that will be a different animal, but the tax rates are very, very low on this stuff because most of it is non-buildable and most of it falls into common property. It's easements, it's place, things like that. Now, we have not gone through in detail because we haven't had it that long about each property, but we will be doing that, and we haven't even received the last one of them, so we should be getting soon. We just found out about those about weeks ago.
Okay. I've asked you a couple months back, and you stated that the property taxes on these lots would be like $31,000.
That's what it was, but with those additional properties, I don't know, Nico. We
Okay.
haven't seen them yet. We haven't gotten those deeds. So I don't want to say, everyone walking out of here, that that's what the final bill's going to be, because I don't know that yet.
Yeah, and I guess my comment is, if these properties, nobody can build on them, they must not have any value. I'm just wondering if someone can check into it and see if we can lower the taxes on them.
Well, we'll look into it, but understand that that common property comes in all shapes and sizes. Some of them are nice-sized properties. So it just depends, okay? All right. I'll hop into my report. Couple things that I wanted to go over with everyone, reminding everyone that the CNR and director vote is going to be taking place on August 11th, and it'll run till September 5th. We got Kathy in here, who's the chairperson for the election committee, and she'll do the rundown on what's happening on the director one. But as I remind everybody every month, the board is unanimously aligned and supports the passage of that amendment. If you've got questions, there are on our website, you can ask the questions. You'll get answers as quickly as we can turn them around. So please do that if you have an inkling. Wyndham, I'm not going to go over a whole lot there because we spent a good amount of time on this last Thursday when we had the financial update, and those of you that didn't see it, I would suggest that that's probably a good place to go. We had some slides that we went through exactly where we are. There's not a whole lot more to add to the conversation from that then. Wyndham is having a meeting with the deed owners that we look forward to seeing what comes out of that. We don't know. We're not going to be sitting in that meeting. Obviously, we don't own property. We don't own timeshares. So that'll be a conversation between Club Wyndham and the deed owners, or actually the board members of the various 8 homeowners associations. So that's going to be happening in early August. We'll see what we find out from there. The next thing is, I wanted to remind everybody about the sign policy. We're starting to get complaints, and when we start getting complaints, we know that it's getting a little out of hand. But all of you should be aware, there are specific policies for real estate signs, garage, yard, and political signs. And when we see those signs, they're going to come down. And if people continue to put them up, you're going to start seeing fines. So if you're in that ilk, those of you at home listening too, if you've got signs up, read that policy and make sure you're complying, because you're about ready to lose a sign, and if it continues, you will start getting fines. So please make sure that you take care of that. With that, Bruce Horn, Treasurer's Report.
Good morning. The Treasurer's Report as of June 30th. POAs and amenities, the overall revenue through June 30th was slightly behind schedule by approximately $346,000, or 3%. Assessment revenue was in line with estimates, and other revenue exceeded budget again by approximately 5%. Notable revenue higher than budget was experienced in community maintenance, administration, and racket sports. Golf was down slightly due to a higher than normal rain conditions for June. Overall, golf is still performing well and well above guidelines for year-to-date income. Cost of goods sold. Costs of goods sold are meeting expectations with a slight variance of plus $12,000. It was anticipated that cost of goods sold would be approximately $1.163 million for the year to date, and actual costs of goods sold were $1.15 million respectively. Golf COGS were below expectations with 6% savings. Food is slightly higher with a negative variance of 4%. Operating expenses, including payroll. Again, for the month of June, we are experiencing positive trends in general expenses and payroll. We are 2% lower than budget for payroll, 28% below for materials, and 22% better in repairs and maintenance. Net income. Net income for POA and amenities was a surplus of $217,000. As we progress through the second half of the year, we should see positive momentum in top-line revenue, savings in general expenses, and overall positive net income against budget guidelines for 2025. For wastewater treatment and sewer. Overall revenue through June, we have a negative revenue number with a miss of approximately 4%, or $67,000. We are 28% in commercial sewer fees. We're off by 28%, pardon me, in commercial sewer fees, with a slight miss of 2% in residential sewer fees. Timeshare and tap fees are exactly in line. Operating expenses, including payroll. Similar to May, large variances were experienced positively for payroll, materials, repairs, and licenses again in June. Total in this area of general expenses was a positive $169,000, about 12%, against estimates through June 30th. Our net income, as we have experienced in 2025, sewer income is better than expected. We have a net surplus of $286,000 against a budget of $184,000. Now, this will be posted on the website. If there's any questions?
No questions.
Oh, no questions, sorry.
No questions.
Not
At the end
yet.
of the day.
Not yet.
At the end.
I'm sorry.
Yep, my error.
General Manager's report. Bill?
Just wanted to give you an update on the Druid Hills. We have clubhouse. We have completed the site preparation portion of the project and are now entering into the construction phase. We actually had a lot of activity yesterday. Over 60 yards of concrete was poured for the footers, which support the walls that will be for the building. So the complete perimeter was covered, and we will begin to see progress as the building starts to rise up. So project remains on schedule and on budget. We currently will be watching the construction timeline and critical paths as we move forward. It's very preliminary, but at this juncture, we're looking at an August 2026 grand opening. The firehouse firehouse number 1 emergency management building is, we are still awaiting the second set of cost estimates. Those should arrive any day now, at which point we will meet with the general contractor to finalize the cost of the project. We are have no concerns that of any issues of this project being over budget at this juncture. In fact, we hope to have some good news with these final estimates, because they're based on more complete drawings than the original set of estimates that we got, which were based on 40% of architectural drawings, and those numbers were very favorable to budget initially. So anyway, once we get those completed, we will move into a formal contractual. We're in the pre-construction phase right now with the general contractor, but we will move into a more formal contract at that point. And we are still looking at a estimated groundbreaking on that project at early September. And that project will go fairly quickly relative to the Druid Hills Clubhouse. But we'll keep you up to date on that. The 3D renderings of the project and the floor plans, we are still awaiting from the architect, but they should be coming shortly, and they'll be posted on the website. So we followed up on that the other day. He's out on vacation, but their staff is going to be getting those to us in short order. The steering committee for the Racket Center expansion continues to work on their recommendations for that project, and will be coming forth at the appropriate time when they are complete with their recommendation and are ready to address the board on that. And of course, today is the initial opening round of the Tennessee Women's Open. This is the 27th Tennessee Women's Open and the 17th consecutive year that Fairfield Glade has had the privilege to host this event. It's really a great event. We hope all of you will make sure to make time to come out and show your support. You'll really enjoy it. It's very relaxing. It's a beautiful setting. We have the hospitality tent set up. You can enjoy a nice lunch, cold beverage, some snacks, whatever. Take a walk or just prop your feet up behind the 18th green and enjoy the players as they complete their round. We will have a special drawing at the end of the final round on Saturday for a Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail giveaway. We'll have more details on that on Saturday, but you must be present to win. So we hope you'll come out on Saturday and cheer on the participants as they complete the championship. So exciting moments, exciting times at Fairfield Glade, and I appreciate all of y'all's support. Thank you.
Okay. Resort report.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to say how saddened and shocked I was to hear that the Wyndham timeshares at Fairfield Glade are closing the end of this year. And right now, we know nothing more than what we've put out to all of our residents. So we will keep you informed as we find out more information. So month to date, Wyndham visitors, we've had 3,900. Year to date, 26,000. As far as amenities of like revenues, the center has generated 15,441 for the month of June, and year-to-date 83,300, which is 32% of like revenue. Racket sports 2,400 June and 9,400 year-to-date, which is 5%. Dartmoor Marina 20,900 year-to-date 31,700, which is 29%. St. George 11,800. Year-to-date, 18,900, which is 20%. Golf, 99,500. Year-to-date, 321,200, which is 8%. And food and beverage, 46,600 for the month of June, and year-to-date, 142,500, which is 10%. So for the month of June, the total from Wyndham visitors is 196,800, and year-to-date 607,200, which is an average of 10% like revenue. As you can see, Wyndham visitors generate in amenities and food and beverage well over $1.5 million a year. And we're hoping that another company to come in and take over. Thank you very much.
Okay, old business. Election report. I'm sorry? Oh, election committee. I'm sorry, I skipped you, Kathy. I checked you off before I had you get up. There you go.
Good morning. This thing turned on. There we go. So you know me, I'm Kathy Tipton. I'm the chair of the committee, and we're.
Yes, it is. It's working.
Am I working?
Yes.
I'll talk louder. There we go. So we are pleased to be able to oversee this year's election. And again, it's one at-large director position with a slate of 2 candidates, Bruce Horn and Isaac Zucker. The candidate for the declarant director is Ellen Anderson, and the candidate nominated for the interval owner director is Mark McLean. The at-large director, the declarant director, and the interval owner director are elected to 3-year terms by the entire voting membership of the Fairfield Glade Community Club. I do want to draw your attention today to the e-blast that went out on the 17th titled How to Vote, which we all hope that you have seen and read. The information also appeared yesterday, Wednesday, in the Glade Sun. Eligible voters with a current and verified email address on file will receive an emailed ballot on Monday, August 11th. Property owners with no email address on file will be mailed a paper ballot on August 11th. Every year, we get a question from those folks saying, why don't I have my ballot yet? Well, because it was mailed, and it takes a couple days for it to arrive. The committee does encourage all property owners to utilize electronic balloting due to the expense of processing paper ballots. Complete instructions for voting electronically and for processing the paper ballot are included with each ballot. And we encourage everyone to contact the administrative office at 931-484-3780 and ask for member records if you have any questions about your ballot. The Meet the Candidates Forum for the at-large director position will be held Thursday, July 31st at 6:30 p.m. here at the center. The event is intended to provide an opportunity to learn more about each candidate and to hear their positions on various issues facing Fairfield Glade property owners. The event will be live streamed, and the video will be available on the club election website by Monday, August 4th. We hope you will attend in person or online to learn more about the candidates as they respond to questions submitted by members of the community. After the event, attendees will have an opportunity to talk directly with candidates. And finally, results of the election will be announced at the annual meeting here at the center on Friday, September 19th. And I think there's no questions, right, Greg?
No, for you, they can ask questions since
Questions.
you're an invited
Questions?
speaker.
No questions. All righty. Thank you.
Again, I'm going to put in a marketing thing here for the committee. These people work very hard to get these questions, all this stuff sorted out. It's really a big job, and they do a wonderful job of it. And they work behind the scenes. You don't see a lot of what they do. You see it when it comes out, like in the questions and the candidate nights and things like that. So just on behalf of the board, Kathy, we appreciate you and all what the committee does. Okay? All right, now we'll get into old business. Monica, you want to talk a little bit about the revised fence policy?
Yes, just wanted to give you an update on it. As you recall, probably, a couple meetings ago, we talked about a revised fence policy. We posted it, gave it 30 days, had a lot of comments from members, which was wonderful, and made some changes to the policy due to the insight from the members. And then we reposted, and we got several comments just before the board meeting. So we need to take a little bit of time to look those over. Not we, but the ACC needs to take time to look them over. So they will look over the most recent comments and make a recommendation to the board for what they would like to do from here. So expect to see that in a future board meeting.
Okay, hold on. We'll get
And we
you
got
at
your
the end.
comments, Beth.
All right.
Send them on to the ACC.
No, hold on. We'll have you can comment at the end of the meeting. Okay? The credit option policy, MK.
The property credit policy was introduced last month and has been posted. We received one comment that was a procedural question and had no material impact on the policy. Therefore, I move that we approve the property credit option policy.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Bill, you want to talk about the boat sticker policy?
The boat sticker policy likewise received minimal comment, and the Lakes Committee has reviewed those and also was in approval of moving forward with the policy as proposed.
Do I have a motion?
I present a motion to accept the revised boat sticker policy.
I second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. There is no new business, So we'll move into remarks by the board. Anybody want to make any remarks? I'm just going to add on to what Bill said. We attended the dinner last night for the participants. A lot of them were there. About 80 of the 114 people that will be teeing off or have teed off this morning. It's really a great event. There'll be a lot of people I know behind their homes and cheering the ladies on, and it's a nice event. And I can't tell you how many comments we get from the Tennessee Golf Association and the participants and how welcome they feel here at Fairfield Glade. And that's due to all of you and the people that attend. So I encourage you to attend. I think, if I remember correctly, I think the WVTV over from Knoxville, which is, I believe, the CBS affiliate, they'll be doing some videos, and WATE is actually going to be doing some of their sports reporting from here for the tournament. So get on over, have a good time, and enjoy the people and the golf. And like Bill said, there will be a giveaway on Saturday, but you have to be there to win it. So please come. Anybody else got anything? If not, we'll move into comments from the floor. Please state your name and your address, please.
Beth Jones, 141 Hickory Ridge Lane. I got into this fence business because when I had to replace my fence, I had to go to the ACC meeting, and they asked me if I was going to keep the 2 plants that I have there. And I said, well, certainly, I'm not going to take them out. And then when I got my approval, it said that I must keep those plants. So I started looking at the policy. And first of all, the present policy had all these lines through it, so I asked for a clean copy. And when I got the clean copy, several things had been changed around. Sentences added to different numbers on the policy, and all of that. I can show them to you and what I've done. It just seems like that, I know they've been approving fences from the road for a long time, obviously, and it says that in the first thing, that I have to have approval. There's also another line in there that says fences that are visible from the street will not be approved. Well, obviously they are approved. Will be in an area, not visible from the street. And you've been approving fences visible from the street for a long time. I have 2 fences in my neighborhood that have been in there within the last 2 years. One is on a corner lot. I can see the entire fence from the road, the entire fence of the backyard. They were not asked to put any plants in. There's another fence in the neighborhood that you can see from the yard. They were not required to put any evergreens or whatever in. And it also says in the present policy that anything put in has to be approved by the ACC, which I understand. The proposal that I have, I think it's the latest one, the one line says they want to match being practiced by members of the community as well as the desire of the ACC. Well, they're being practiced by the members because the ACC will not approve the fence
1 minute left.
unless they put evergreens in. I think the whole policy needs to be redone because it's vague in some areas, and I find that in my things around the neighborhoods, et cetera, that the ACC is very subjective in their decisions and not objective because of the vagueness of the present policy or anything that you're going to add. It's just very sad that they're the same houses next to each other in that monstrosity on Hunterwood Court that the ACC is so concerned about a fence being seen from the road.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Ted Landers, 22 Amesbury Court. I want to thank the board for putting the committee meeting times and dates on the website schedule. That's helpful. I've also noticed that on the new website under policies, that more than half the policies are not listed. On the previous website, you needed to click on a link that was on that page in order to access the remainder of them. There is no such link here, so more than half the policies are not visible. Survey question. About 4 months ago, there was a survey that went out to the membership. Bill had said that we would get the results on that pretty quickly. I haven't seen the results of that survey. Can you tell me the status, please?
You will be receiving those tomorrow.
Perfect. 6 years ago, the Fairfield Glade voted in executive session to permit Zurich to build a subdivision. This was in the newspaper recently. That was Greg's first board meeting. We still have a continuing ongoing problem. First off, we need to resolve that, or this board needs to resolve what the previous board created as a problem. So somehow we need to get that taken care of. From what was said in the paper, it said that the previous manager, Weber, had told the board members at that meeting that it was not permissible to do that, and the board did it anyway. So there should be some kind of penalty for those board members who violated our documents. And then I still think the board continues not to be transparent with its finances. I don't think like today, there is no new motions for approval of anything. I can't believe that a corporation is 25 million isn't approving some motions that are greater than 25K. Certain instances are property insurance, health insurance. Those are both very big expenses. I've never, in all the time I've been here, seen the board approve those. I don't understand why that isn't the case. The board,
2 minutes, Ted.
okay. The board approved money for new police cars, and we haven't heard any result as if the police cars were purchased, nor if they were within budget or went over budget. Same was for some golf equipment. And, that kind of thing, I just think just needs to be, more communicated to the membership than what has happened. Thank you.
I'm not going to go into all of it, but the reporting in the Glade Sun was incorrect on the item that you brought up.
Greg, do you want to clarify on the cars or capital requests?
Yeah, it'd probably
versus
be better,
operational?
Jason, for you to run through that if you can. What we're doing, approval of cars.
So the, in reference to the individual expenses that you had mentioned.
Make sure you're into the mic, okay?
So I think it's about $54,000 for the police cars.
So the expenditures in the capital, the club capital, would indicate spending, and I believe the cars are in there for the police force.
Well, that's the other thing is I wish these financial pages had numbers on them to make it easier for us to be able to ask questions of them.
I'm sorry, repeat that?
These pages do not have numbers on them. It'd be helpful if there were numbers on the pages so we could say on page 5, second category or something, so we could all follow along.
So in reference to the other questions that you had, an expenditure like the insurance, all that is lumped into the budget. They're not line items. So the approval of the budget by the board would also be ad hoc approval for the insurance if there was an increase year over year. So for instance, the budget for 26, it's a line item on the budget that we present to the board. So an approval of the overall budget would be approval of the insurance.
All of our insurance renewals are synced with the fiscal year.
And that's been a practice since I've been on the board. It was all approved in the budget.
There's a distinction between the 25,000 for capital requests that have to come
that's
to the
where I was
board
gonna go, yeah.
versus the operational expenses that are in the budget on an annual basis.
Well, my only point is that those are both items that are much greater than the rate of inflation, and so it's just interesting to know what the increase is from one year to the next. So,
Sure.
thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, we will address those matters, and to your point, as part of the budget presentation, be highlighted.
Any other comments?
Bill, regarding the policies, we'll take a look at that, Ted, because that's not the intent, but as we load things on, sometimes they don't all get loaded. And
Yeah, I've
so
made a note. We'll get with Shannon
we'll
on that.
definitely look at that.
I do appreciate your sending that information on the IT thing where you do the comments that if you put your phone number in, it wouldn't allow you to submit it. I appreciate your sending that along to get that corrected. Thank you.
Before I start, Greg, you said the comments were incorrect. What comments were incorrect?
The discussion that was referred to in terms of the board being made aware at that meeting was not done at that meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. Couple of points. Scott, first.
State your name.
Tom Ratcliffe, 157 Dovenshire Drive. You can start the 3 minutes now. Thanks, Scott, for updating the minutes on the Government Affairs Committee, the several months that were missing. I appreciate that. I wasn't able to attend the financial meeting, Jason, but I did review it, and it was well done. I appreciate that. It goes a long ways to educating the community, so thank you for that. I want to follow up on Ted's point in regards to the board, and that is, so in that, in my opinion, that's a highlight of either where the bylaws or the CNRs and or both were violated by the board at that time. And the point that I'm making on this is we all go back to that was prior to. What I want to know from this board, what have you done to ensure a violation of both either the bylaws or CNRs cannot happen again? And if they do, back to Ted's point, what is the penalty? State of Tennessee, POAs and HOAs allows for penalties. And in some of those cases, as allowed, members can be held personally accountable. Now, I'm not saying that, but I'm tired of these things going on and current boards saying, we had nothing to do with it. I understand, you didn't. But what are you doing to prevent it in the future? Thank you.
What we've done, and I think this was a good example of it, we're a lot more aware of what the CNRs say. We've gone through them. People are looking at them a lot more than we have in the past. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but there was a reliance on staff to let us know a lot of the CNRs. They were a lot more familiar than the board was. That's changing. And I think the big thing there, Tom, is we got consistency at the SMT level and mainly at the GM level that Bill is very aware of the CNRs and will call us out if we believe we're not doing it. But that's also a responsibility of the board, and I'm not trying to escape that. And we are looking a lot closer at everything as it relates to a CNR or bylaw before we take action on things.
Thank you for that. And just a quick point on that you didn't mention. We have an attorney that we pay. Now, in that particular example, as I understand it, there was a legal agreement put together. That meant our attorney had to review it, right?
You're making assumptions that may or may not be true.
That's true. I am. But what I want to know is the attorney's role, number one, and I've said this before, we switch out financial audit firms periodically to get a different perspective and a view. We've not done that with this attorney under the guise that we need that continuity. It's time it quits. We need new representation.
Any other comments from the floor?
Jeannie Guide, Doyle Court. Greg, you said that that board had not been made aware of it at that meeting. When was the board made aware?
There was a meeting in June of 2020.
June. And what did the article state?
I don't know.
Okay.
But if it's reflective of what Ted said, what he said, if that's what was in the article, is not true.
Okay, so it was in June of 2020 you became aware. Okay, thank you.
And that was before the board that voted in September was seated.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments?
Greg?
Yeah.
I just wanted to add to your comments about the CNRs and the bylaws. We have been on Wednesdays, sometimes twice a month, going through page by page on CNRs, Because there are some things that are kind of an old language, you know, the things that were in place then that just, people don't even say it that way, and to understand what we have. It has put a big burden on our attorneys because we're asking questions that we need to know, and then by that process alone, we're each learning things that we didn't know. I had read them completely before I ran for the board, but reading them all yourself, and in fact, Greg, for all the candidates that ran that year, gave us a copy of the CNRs and walked us through questions that we had about it. But it's a lot different when you sit around in a circle and talk about those things and think, well, what was intended here? And there are a couple that we're asking what was intended there. So just wanted to let you know that we have gone through them. You should not expect a surprise from any of us on anything in those. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Any other comments from the floor? Hearing none, I would like a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second? We got thirds. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all for coming, and we do appreciate your comments.